Biden couldn't remember who the Health and Human Services Secretary is. And frankly, most of you probably can't either because we never see him. That's because it's Secretary Becerra, and he's been totally absent. Becerra has yet to attend a single White House COVID briefing. Think about it. He's Health and Human Services Secretary. He hasn't attended one White House briefing on this. He hasn't held a press conference on the matter, and it took him more than 7 months to visit the National Institutes of Health during a pandemic. So where is Secretary Becerra? He's like a COVID man of mystery. Joining me now is Florida Congresswoman Cammack. Thank you, Congresswoman, for joining us from Florida. Congresswoman, where is this guy? He's the Secretary of Health and Human Services during a pandemic, and I never see him.
Jason, first, thanks for having me. Good to see you. And to your point, I don't know. This has definitely turned into a game of where's Waldo? No one seems to be able to find him on really any of the issues that he has full jurisdiction over. It could be COVID, which, of course, as you just said, he has not even been to one of the major press conferences at the White House, which you would think that the Secretary of Health and Human Services would be a part of. When it came to the border issue, which HHS has a major role to play in the border because Border Patrol turns over all of the unaccompanied children over to HHS. A whole nother story. He hasn't been down there, nor has he been out front and center dealing with the opioid epidemic. So on the major issues, the major crises that we have been facing as Americans, the Health and Human, the HHS Secretary has been MIA. And when asked about this, I believe in a radio interview that a reporter was able to actually track him down, they asked, well, why aren't you at any of these major briefings? And why aren't you more front and center talking about this issue the same way that Secretary Azar was? And he said, it's, quote, not the profile that counts, it's the results. The results? Okay, we can talk about the results. There's been more people that have died under the Biden administration from COVID than under the Trump administration. We have mixed messaging across the board. 1 minute, the president is saying that you're going to have a winter of death and destruction and fear, and the mongering is all over the map. And then he says, don't panic. And yet we have an HHS secretary, Secretary Becerra, who has nothing to say and is nowhere to be found. It's very, very disturbing. And quite frankly, some people think he may be on his way out.
Well, look, you're in the House, not in the Senate, so you didn't go through the confirmation process, but he barely squeaked by because he has no health and human services background. He's an attorney by trade. He was the California Attorney General. He has no background in this. So now all of a sudden, President Biden's saying, whoops, I forgot to order the masks. Well, somebody's got to turn to somebody and say, whose job and role and responsibility? And you would think the Health and Human Services Secretary would be somewhere in the room. But I mean, who are we supposed to turn to?
Well, and you look at an agency like HHS and the vast portfolio that they oversee, everything from CMS, Medicare, Medicaid. We saw under this Democratic House massive cuts to Medicare and Medicaid to pay for their social justice warrior programs. And then, again, still no word out of the secretary on this. And again, with the border, no words to be said, even though there was outrage about the unaccompanied children and the treatment or lack thereof under this administration. And again, that's an HHS responsibility. Now they're talking about Biden's signature at-home testing program. No contracts have been signed. There's not really been any details laid out. You would think that the secretary would be in charge of that. But something that I found interesting, Jason, was just a few weeks ago, he was asked, how are we going to plan for this? And he said, well, you know, we really ought to ask Congress for more money because we need to make sure that this is an issue that stays front and center for this administration. And we don't want to ask after the fact. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
The Biden administration is hell-bent on pushing through this nearly $5 trillion BBB, Build Back Broke plan that is nothing but Green New Deal and social justice warrior nonsense. And we have the secretary finally pop his head up and say, hey, we might need some money for COVID, when in reality, there's a lot that still has yet to be spent from all of these COVID packages.
Well,
and so you can start to see how this is going to end up happening come the first of the year. They're going to be asking Congress for more money to run another program.
Yes, and look, you're in the House. It's primarily the role of the Senate to drag him up there and say, because they were the ones that confirmed him, how in the world is this doing this? Congresswoman, thank you and have a wonderful New Year. Thanks for joining us on the Ingraham Angle.
Happy New Year.